Okay, we will start with some wrist mobility, actually. So we start in a tabletop, and I want you first to spread your fingers as wide as possible and give a few circles. You probably can't make really big circles because if we spread the fingers as wide as possible, we can have a lot of tension. Change direction, but we will help the inner circle of the palm to open. Oh, Daria. And then we'll bring the fingers all the way together with the fingers really relaxed and start our circles here as well. Hi, Daria.
Hello.
Nice to see you. We just started warming up the wrists.
Okay.
Change direction of the circles. And then I want you to find something in between super spread and hands all the way together, that you feel that the inner circle of the palm can softly ground into the floor. And now you should be able to meet each part of your palm. And then stay on top of your wrists and lift the heel of the hand. The thumb can stay down, but you want to ground one knuckle at a time by gently rocking your weight from right to left. And then bring the wrist all the way down. Right hand in the center, left hand on top. You use the heel of the hand to kind of create a little bit of weight and between the forearm and the wrist. Give little circles to create space between the gap of the forearm and the wrists. You can find some different spots to create that weight. And we switch the hand, left hand in the center, right hand on top. Use the pressure of the top wrist to create the space in the bottom wrist. Very nice. We turn the fingers out, thumbs forward. If you shift your shoulders forward and back, you should meet the thumb side and the pinky side. Then we connect the wrists and we go right and left, but only towards the fingertips, with the shoulders leaning onto the fingertips. And shake it out for a moment. Now I'm going to come a little closer so you see it better. We have the fingertips just on the floor, and we'll rotate the elbows in and out. The hard part about this is just rotating the elbows, not the whole arm and the shoulders. And we'll go to two fingertips, rotating the elbow in and out. Shoulders stay relaxed, wrist can move a little bit, but not so much. And now in our tabletop, try to find our handstand distance. And I want you to have an elbow position that's not pushed forward or out, where you have the similar engagement between triceps and biceps, and you feel the knuckle going down. Let's try that in a plank. And then rock forward and back. Keep that same elbow rotation. And then on the fingertips on the right, keep the same rotation. And we go up and down for a scapular push-up. Let the weight sink in the inner circle of the palm. We switch, other side. Fix the rotation of the elbow, scapular push-up on the side. And release. Well, go all the way on the belly. Arms go all the way forward. Neck is nice and long. We lift the hands up. Go over the side on the height of the shoulders. Flip the palm. And then we meet the thumbs behind the back without touching the back. And we do that 5 times in our own timing. Try to meet each part of the shoulder. The neck nice and long. Maybe you feel a different mobility in your shoulders. And then the elbows are in one line with your shoulder, thumb is facing up. Try to use the pressure of the elbow in the ground to just lift the hand and the thumb towards the ceiling. You feel the scapula rotating down, and then we release. We do 5 of those. Try to hold the top and then release. Very nice. Now interlace the hands behind the head. The elbows are in one line with the shoulders. You're going to think of scooping the elbows to the front so your armpits are going towards the ground. And then you can look up to hover the elbows and have a slight pressure into the hands and release. Should feel like a little scooping action. Elbows forward, armpits down. Just hover the elbows and the head. Release. 2 more. Keep the elongation of the neck. You don't have to lift the elbows very high. And release. Let's get the arms out wide like a T. And 3 times, roll into your twist and pec stretch. The back leg can be bent or straight. Use your exhale to roll over. Your inhale to come to center. One more time on each side. And use the hands to come all the way up in to a tabletop. We'll move from our plank to our side plank. Start with the legs all the way together. Find the wrap in the shoulders, the elbow, and you go to the side plank. Really squeeze the back of the shoulder blades together. Roll to the center, and as you roll back to plank, try not to drop the shoulders. So keep the engagement, keep the wrap. So you go to the other side. And then activate the back of the shoulder, especially if you rotate back to center plank. One more time, each side. It's very easy to just rush through this movement. Then we're not helping our shoulders to be in a stable scapular position. Nice. Go a bit towards the legs. Let's start with the right leg forward in a lunge. Bring the fingertips to the side and switch a few times from your half split to your low lunge. Work with the antagonist muscle, meaning if I go to the low lunge, I really use the back glutes and hamstring to push the front forward. Same as I'm straightening the leg in the front. I'm gonna lunge to the front. You can keep the front leg bent if you need to, but we're gonna try to kick the ceiling 5 times. And then we switch the legs, so left leg forward and find your low lunge on the side. Move between low lunge and half split. Take 1 breath in each of the positions. And we lunge forward and up. 5 leg kicks on the side. And then bring both of your legs together in a forward fold. Come onto the toes, bend your knees to roll down into a squat where your bum ideally touches the heels, and then roll forward. And then you can ground the heels. Two more times on the toes, knees stay together, bring them towards the chest, heels to the bum, and roll forward. One more. Release in the forward fold. Move into squat from here. Use the elbows to widen the knees, broaden the chest. Move your head from side to side, front and back. And then come into a seated position. If you have a block or a ball or something that you want to put between the knees, that's nice. The arms reach forward, shoulder blades back, collarbones are rotated up. You're only going to go back as much as you feel the little shaking in the core as you reach the arms up. I want you to think with the sternum to the front, the shoulders back. Roll back, but keep the sternum lifted. Push the sternum towards the block. Use your exhale to roll down. If I would go further down, my shoulders would rotate forward. So I keep the elongation and the lift. Reach, arms up. One more time. Roll back. Keep the ribs integrated, sternum, collarbones lifted. And then push. Nice. Now we'll take our block under the heels. And we'll try to find, with the push of the heels, the hips will lift, but we want to keep the hips down and the ribs down, but feeling the back of the legs active and also pushing the shoulders down into the ground, feeling the inner thighs connecting. Then we turn around on the belly, so now your toes are on the block, arms are forward, thighs are still connecting. Now we'll try to lift the belly button off, finding our hollow back position here, feeling the front of the body nice and strong. And release. So what we want to feel now also in our first handstand drill is that we want to find that sandwich between the front and back where you feel the back of the body as much activated as the front. And what I want to try for a hand position is that we have quite soft hands. So instead of being really tight and strong in the wrists that your forearms start burning, think of sinking into the ground without overbalancing so much with the fingers. I'm going to try to show that close to the screen, the difference. So I can be very strong in my grip and balance a lot with the fingers, or I can try to loosen the fingers and sink into the ground more without overbalancing. Try to get up however you want into your straight handstand and try to just soften the fingers a bit. If you fall out, you fall out. But try a few of these to begin the practice tonight. And also use the wall if you need a bit more stability. Really nice. That looks great. If there's another shape that maybe an L shape or something that is more accessible for you in the first round, go ahead and do that as well. Feel like often we take away from really feeling our balance because we are holding on to the floor so much that we can't trust that subtle balance of the body. Nice. Super good. That element of groundedness also helps us to not freak out when the body is not in a perfect line. Yeah. Stabilize quite a bit. Going more to like a softer balance point. Really nice. You want to add to this, you could do the same exercise with the hands a little closer. It can be just a little closer, or it can be thumbs touching. Then the balance is a little harder, but still work on softening the fingers, letting the weight go straight down into the ground. Only as an option, otherwise, keep doing one more straight handstand before we move on. That looks good. A little harder for the shoulder opening when we bring the hands closer. Very nice alignment. Perfect. If you have a block, you could also use the wall, your couch, or something similar. Find the height of the block that you want to use to do a puppy pose that's elevated. What I want you to focus on is not dipping in your lower back. I'm really thinking of reaching the shoulders long and the hips back. And I wear great clothing for this. You don't really see my back. So I don't want to dip in my ribs. I want to keep that elongation. The navel pulls in, and it is as if someone would pull my hands and hips at the same times. At the same time, that's how long your back should feel. And we'll work towards tuck in a moment. And often we kind of sit into our lower back a lot. And I want you to get that feeling of really elongated spine. Let's also actually try it in a seated position with the heels and the glutes together. And stick your ribs out, arch in your lower back, and then try to find that elongation from the lower back, the belly, and the hands and shoulders, the hips, everything in one line. One more time. Arch, stick your butt out, ribs are out, and then pull it in from the center of the body. Nice. Okay, now we'll try that in our handstand, and I'll show you in a second also a drill with the wall that I really like for this. Let's say we start in our straight position because then we already have a nice long back. As you're reaching down, think of you're pulling something on your legs down so your back stays nice and long, and you arrive in more like an open tuck where it's a bit easier to keep the back nice and long. Often when we pull lower, we sit the butt back. But we want to keep that elongation in the back and spine. That's our focus for now. You need the wall. Try to use this wall. Want to bring the knees a little higher than the hips. The shins are touching the wall because then it's also easier to bring the back, and you can also drop your head here, which makes it a bit easier to access the back of the body. What I want you to feel in this first variation is that long back and the back of the shoulders. Really feel how your navel and your ribs are pulling back. Nice. That looks great. Super good position, Daria. Nice, Josie. If I would draw a line from the middle of your palm through the shoulder and the hip bone, it wants to be in one line. Perfect, Laura. That's good. Yeah, and if you have the control, also free in the room, bring the head in that position. In that open tuck, bring the head all the way in to help that rib move back. Yeah, do it from the ribs. Pull the ribs back. Nice. Yeah, nice. That's perfect, Laura. We'll do one little stretch before we move to the next one. And if you have sensitive knees, put something underneath. And you can also do it with the wall, but we'll go for that quad stretch where, again, here, it's very tempting to arch in the back, but I want you to move the ribs back, pull the belly button into the spine, and really get the stretch in the front of the hip instead of just avoiding it by the lower back. So get the side of the hip, the side of the shoulder, the knee in one line. And same on the other side. A quick release, but the drills that we do in between are always meant to help you with your handstand alignment. So check if you have that alignment from the shoulder to the hip to the knee and the belly and the ribs in. Okay. I'm gonna go towards stack, and you can do this as a compression drill or as a one-arm drill. Let's say you kick up, and I would always start a little higher than the hips, then you can bring the knee in, then you can work the knee towards the body and the ribs back, and then you will feel how the compression gets deeper by creating that space from the center of the body. If I'm out here, I'm trying to pull down, I'm going to pull my whole body down. So the alignment has to be in one line first, which is a lot easier with the knee. And I'm pulling in and then I'm staying close to the body instead of out here pulling down and pulling myself out of alignment. And if you want to do this as a one-arm shift, the top leg that's up is the side you're shifting towards. And because we have the knee in the front, we help the ribs to stay back. Vice versa on the other side. So choose your challenge. Yeah, you want to get the thigh towards the ribs and belly, not just down. You want to get it in. Really nice, Daria. Think a little more compression with the stack leg, Laura, helps you to not lose the top leg in the shift. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a super compressed stack, but so much that you kind of feel everything hugging in. The stack one arm shift can also be done quite nicely either belly to wall or back to wall. Nice. Mm-hmm. Really good. Yeah, that's much better. Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Laura, can you put Josie's top leg in a straight position? Because before the top leg was too much back, just to give her a feeling where the straight alignment is. Yeah. Yeah. I think you can just put kind of the finger on the on the foot. Yeah. Perfect. Now pull the knee into the hip a bit more, Josie, to help your lower back. Yes, good. That's nice. Perfect. Thanks. Try a few on the other side as well if you haven't done that yet. Either shift or switching the leg. Another in-between step could also be in your stack, kind of what we did earlier in the open tuck, when you're in your low stack position to then bring the head in and look towards your knee. Really nice. So clean, Daria. Super nice. Nice. Yeah, that's perfect correction. Really nice. Very nice. It stays still in the same category, but we'll work from bending to extending. So in a seated position, we hook our right arm behind our right thigh, and in our compression, we go towards straight. At the top point, we flex the foot. What we don't want to lose is the connection between our thigh and our ribs, or our alignment into like a slouching position. Just a few nerve flossing movements for our hamstring. Next time you're straight, just walk your hands to wherever you can grab and correct your position again. Reach the crown of the head up. Let the belly fall back so the thigh can come closer towards your ribs. Release. We do the other side. Hook behind. Work between bending and straightening. We flex as we bend and point as we straighten. And then stay with the straight leg. Hold behind your thighs. Reach your head and your spine longer. Pull the navel in so you can touch your thigh towards your ribs. And release. Now we'll try that transition in handstands. I'm going to show the kick up version first. Kick up into that high L shape. Work the stack compression, but then you try to go down with the leg, ideally not bringing the top leg down, right? So I constantly think on my top leg, someone is pushing down, so I can get this leg close to the body. And it's similar to what we did in the stack. The closer, the lower I bring the leg, the more I have to pull it into the back and lower it. If you want to do this more as a one arm, you start here, and then as you shift the side, you straighten the leg more towards the side and the top leg also a bit more to the side. So a bit more diagonal, let's say more like this, not straight front as you do the stack and the L shape, more in line with the body. Now, if the transition is too much, you can already start in this sideways position. Can also be done in two hands. Don't have to do it as a shift. And do you want to keep using the bottom leg to help your rib alignment? Yeah, nice. Even though the leg goes down, it also goes in and up. Mhm. Like anything that goes from bent to straight, even though the leg straightens out, we want to think of pulling the leg back into the hip so it stays close to the body and we can carry it easy instead of letting it drop out to the front and then we have to planche the shoulders and it gets really heavy. Yes, nice. That looks good, Laura. Pull the leg in. Yes, nice. Yes, perfect. Nice, Daria. Really nice. That looks good. Yay, nice. Nice, much better. Yeah, just I thought you can also use it as a press drill if you want. You can reach your one leg up and you lean so much that you can pull this leg in and then use the initiation of the press. If you bend the leg, it's a little lighter. If you want to do it as a straight leg press, you can also do it. But for most people, it helps the rounding of the spine as you lean and pull the leg in to finish that press. Can also be done from like a yoga block if you need the elevation. Or just on the way down, try to land as slow motion as you can on your tiptoes to hold the end compression. Nice. Now tiptoe the block. Nice. Great. Think on the right arm, Laura, don't go so far with the top leg that's straight. Try to reach it more diagonal to the ceiling instead of out to the window. Yeah, stop there. And now pull the lower leg in. Yes, that's it. Yay, much better. Perfect. Easy fix. Great. Do one last one before we move towards straddle things. We'll lay on our back, open the legs into a straddle using the hands on the inside. You want to have the heels in one line with the hips, and because we're on the ground, we can really work the ribs pushing down into the ground. You can just add some weight or some bounces to open your straddle. And then if you know you want to go towards weight shifting, I would also ask you to push one leg at a time down towards the ground. But ideally, the ribs want to stay down so they're not coming up with you. Just one leg at a time. Then we'll either work on jumping into our straddle, finding a good start, starting on the toes, trying to arrive in our straddle, also with a nice straight back, not just arching and dumping our weight. Find that elevation in the spine again. Maybe even relaxed hands or fingers. If you want to make this more of a one-arm drill, I would ask you to start stepping a bit to the side. Just take the step to walk the hands a little more narrow and closer. if you have enough space to walk sideways also where you are. You could also do this with the belly to the wall to just get used to a little bit of shift and stepping. What is also quite accessible when you start with the hands a little closer, like we did in the warm-up with the thumbs closer together, and then make just one step into your normal handstand position. I'm going to show that as well, a bit closer to the screen. So let's say we start in the straddle with the hands closer. I'm going to shift a little to make my step into two. You could come down, start again, do the same thing on the other side. Then you just have one step. But really use the weight shift to create the lightness in the hand that you want to replace. It's not a shoulder push and aggression, it's using the body to go and create lightness in the hand. Nice, that looks great. Super good jump, Daria. Nice. Good. Here it's a little higher, lower. Yeah, better. For all these things, we want to think with the heels a tiny bit higher than the hips, because if we hang out in this like super low straddle, we're way more in an arch position, and it's a lot harder to initiate the shift because then we kind of break the line from the shoulders to the hips. Also, when you jump, think with the heels a tiny bit higher than the hips. So it helps your hip to arrive on top of your shoulder. Go a bit more fluid from a kick up and either into a straddle, into a side bend, or into a one arm shift. So I'm gonna face this way. Let's say I kick up here and I go immediately into the straddle, or I use my kick up, open into the straddle, and go into the side bend. Or I use my kick up to open, go into the shift. Just want you to use a kick up, finding the hip on top of the shoulder, open to your straddle, and finding that back line of the body, not trying to do everything in the front with the chest. A big circle and use the fluidity of the movement to find your shape, but maybe decide before you go which version you're doing. Be clear about the pathway in your mind, your body will follow. Yeah, nice. Especially now where We have to be focused on keeping the shoulder and wrist in the same position instead of rocking and swinging in and out. That's your foundation. That's where you want to feel the balance. Yeah, nice. Great. Start a little more front with the shoulders, Daria, before you kick up, so you don't have to swing back so much. Yeah, really feel the weight in the front of the knuckles, even a bit more forward. Let's try there. Yeah, that's it. Nice. And you don't have to throw your legs back to arrive in the balance. And try it on both sides. Trust your body. It knows where balance feels easy. Yes, nice, Josie. That was really good. You know the drill. If you feel like you need same drill on the floor, you can just be here, open into your straddle, do a few leg movements, or also then go into a shift or a side bend, whatever you need if you are tired on your hands. Be creative. Yes, that's really nice. Sometimes the fluidity of the movement gets us a little bit out of our heads and more into our body. Doesn't always work, but it's a nice tool to have in case you are stuck with like very static transitions. You can always throw that into your practice. Yeah, nice. Big circle, big circle. Yeah. Get the back leg a little further back. Yeah. Yes, that's it. Nice, Daria. Good, Laura. We'll do a little leg drill and a forward fold. We'll start with the right leg. It goes all the way up and over the back, over the side. We go from internal to external rotation. So first we lift the leg as high as possible up and then over to the side. Only the toes are touching. Ideally, when we lift it out to the side, we're not avoiding the hip. So the weight should stay in the middle of your foot as you're going in a circle. And then we do the same circle with the other leg. I don't care how high the leg lifts. I care that you feel the balance point in the foot doesn't change, no matter if your leg is in an internal or external rotation, making the biggest circle you can make today. After you've finished your 3 circles, right and left, just hang in a forward fold, pick up the legs, let the shoulders loose, the head hang free. You can roll up to standing to watch. Gonna start in the same position, but now from lifting the leg up, we try to use a little momentum to go over to the side. So up and do a little kick to the side to end into your straddle. Same here. It's not just in your L shape, but also slightly diagonal to end up into your straddle. To enter from the side. If you want to make this a little harder, you can also go from the side into your cartwheel, into your handstand, or cartwheel to a weight shift to the other side, then cartwheel out on the other side. I want you to do that somewhat slow, that you really feel, even if you just do a cartwheel to handstand or starting in your straddle and doing a cartwheel exit, how there's like a mini weight shift from one hand to the other. Get a feeling for where your hip and your shoulders are, no matter where you enter from. It's a slightly different position than your normal kick up, but your focus point is your foundation, and you can reach it from a lot of different places. And of course, depending on your flexibility in your legs, you might have to adjust a bit the starting position. Yeah, really use that heel drive. Nice. A little more, Josie. You're almost there. Heel drive. Yes. Towards the camera. Yes. Nice. That's it. Nice. That's really good. Heel drive, overdo it on this side, Josie. Oh, you can do it from the other side. See how much back you go with the back leg. Yeah. More heel drive. Nice. The last transitions that I want to do today is that we go 5 times from our straight to our straddle position. As we do so, you don't have to go to your lowest straddle. I would rather have you focus on keeping the shoulder and hip alignment in the same space than changing and rocking forward and back. We do the same with tuck as well. I'm going to show a one-arm variation after. So my alignment doesn't change no matter if I'm moving the legs up and down. If I'm moving a lot and my shoulders and everything moves, I have to balance a lot too. It can be quite slow, it can be quite fast, however you want to challenge your alignment. And you could also do a few on the floor first to just see that the structure, the box of the hips and the shoulders stay in the same place. Let's do the straddle first if you want to do a one arm drill. I want you to maintain the straddle, go to your shift, make a fist right and left. Just do quick shifts from side to side, but really maintain the position in the legs. The legs are not waving in the air, they're a fixed point, and you just go from side to side. And afterwards, we go to tuck. But let's take a few minutes to do this, and then I'm going to show the tuck variation as well. Nice. Be very clear where your foundation is and move the legs independently. The less you're moving the foundation, the easier it is in your arms and shoulders. If you balance each part of everyone can open and close the legs. You don't have to think about it. A little less straddle pike, Laura. Yeah. Like elevate the hips a little more. Yeah, that looks better. Really nice. Good. Nice. Yes. Nice, Josie. Looks great. Good. Yeah, trust your hands, Daria. You got it. We'll go to tuck. Hey, my dear. Start in your straight position, and you go into your tuck 5 times, but really letting the foundation not move. Like I said earlier, if we pull the tuck down, the shoulders move forward, we have to fight a lot. So rather stay in a quite open tuck, but be able to move up and down. The depth will come as you get more confident in your foundation. And for the one-arm people, it's the same idea. You go to the side, make a little fist in the air. So we go from side to side. All of you, try to keep the inner thighs and the knees together. If you lose that connection, it's way more tempting that we arch a lot and that we lose the connection to the deep core. Yes, nice. That looks great. Nice. Yes, nice. You can keep your knees together, put your socks between your knees and try to squeeze it. Nice. Okay. Last one. If you want it, take it or leave it. Then we'll do conditioning in a second. We'll do a little stretch in our half squat position. I want you to try to really get the shoulder inside and reach the top arm diagonal over so we can get the rib in and the thigh to connect. Let the sacrum go down. And we switch the leg. Really move the shoulder in so you can use the shoulder to get the rib cage to the front and then reaching the arm diagonal up. You know, compression is harder for you. I would suggest to put two blocks under your head so you have a little bit more elevation. Actually, show that. You can put them on this height or even higher. But let's say we do the right side first. So we'll lift the leg up and bring it out to the sides. And we switch out to the side. So one leg bends to the side, the other one lifts up. And we try to keep the leg as close as possible towards the ribs. We do 3 on each side. Now, again, it might help to do this on blocks or speed up whatever you have. And let's try to actually jump into the straddle set position. You want to do it on the ground. You're in a little squat. And you're trying to jump into the position. This is too wild right now. Try to use kind of the bending of the legs, a little bit momentum to come into your straddle set position. Yeah, rock forward, nice. So it's very tempting to roll the shoulders forward and round, but it's very heavy to lift here. So we actually want to keep the collarbone, the chest, the shoulders open to move into this position. If we're rounded, our butt just falls back down. Think of lifting the chest forward and the gaze forward. If you look down and round, you'll land on your butt. Try it 3 times, and then we'll stretch. The lift and everything comes from the middle of the body, not so much the shoulders and leaning a lot over your wrists. That's really the middle of the body. Yes, nice. Nice. Yeah. I love the spot. Cool. Well, actually, let's be on our back. If it's helpful for you to have a block between your knees to just keep the connection of the core. Let's roll up through the spine as we lift through our hips. We don't want to stick the belly out in the ribs, so we want to find the engagement of the back of the thighs to lift into that shoulder bridge and use the hands to push into the floor so the collarbone space rotates open. Hold for a few breaths here. And then roll down through the spine. You can repeat that exact same position, or we go into a full wheel with the hands next to the ears, but we really want to use the back of the body to roll up and then roll on top of our heads, connecting the inner thighs, reaching the sternum up. And then rolling all the way back down. Now cross your right leg over your left, go into a twist. The left arm is out. Your right hand goes to your head, and you're moving your elbow over to your left arm, and then trying to rotate it fully open to the ground. We do 3 of those. Using your exhale to bring the elbow and the rib down. And then we switch, cross the left on top of the right. Let the knees fall to the left, hand to the forehead, move elbow across the body, and then open it back out. One more time. Back to the middle, hold behind your legs. Take a little momentum and rock. Reach the fingertips towards the hips. Rotate the collarbones open. You can work between bending and straightening the arm a few times. And then give yourself a big squeeze and a hug. Let the forehead fall into the knees. Pick one thing in your mind that you're grateful for today. And then take some extra time to move your wrists around or your shoulders, whatever you feel your body needs at the end of the practice. I know we've done quite a lot today, and I hope you could take some things to practice till I get to see you next time. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining.